Pledge to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here.
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 Mattis. Squires.
Here.
Umos. Costelli.
Here.
Blazich.
Here. 2 presentations. Dr. Solomon.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 2 presentations this evening. The first one is by the U.S. Steel Playground Equipment Grant to Clara Barton. Mr. Don German, will you please come up with Mrs. Haney and your guest?
Hi.
I just want to let the board know how to think about, we're doing the Star Penguins Foundation Reading for Champions. U.S. Steel also donated, U.S. Steel donated hard hats for all of our children for all the hard work they did during the program. So then it came about that Mr. Mady, who is actually a West Midland grad as well, let me know that U.S. Steel was always interested in helping the children of West Midland. So I wrote a proposal, sent it over, and we got approved for $5,000 for new playground equipment that I've already picked out, and it will be installed. So, yeah. Down at U.S. Steel, and also Mr. Mady's here. Like I said, he is from West Midland, and I also had all 3 of his children come through Clara Barton as well. It's good to have connections.
So I'm the plant manager at U.S. Steel. It's our urban facility, and really appreciate you guys taking the time to let us come here and donating the money. We live in the community, we work in the community, and we want to be part of that. We've done a lot with West Midland. I know Joe, some of the things we've done in addition to this, we put the dog park in, so we donated $25,000 to do that, and that's been a big success. We also did a park, Mayor Kelly had asked if we could do up at, and we put a pavilion up there. So yeah, we really enjoy it, and I really appreciate everything. We're going to be doing the cameras, so that's order for the stadium and swimming and I think the gymnasium. So that's who that'll be coming to. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, we really appreciate everything you do for the children of Clara Barton, and also once it's installed, we will be taking pictures, we will send them to you, and we will post them on social media also. This will be on social media thanking you now, but then once all the equipment comes in, that will be also something you can put on your website as well.
I was looking for a rest on that.
Never take
Good work, Noel.
Thank you very much. Very good. Our second presentation this evening is actually in 3 or more parts. The ELA in English teachers and department heads and some of the administration has put a lot of time and effort into investigating different texts in curriculum to, bring to our school in the upcoming curriculum cycle. Each one of them will have a little piece of information that they'll share with you this evening. First, we'll start with Mrs. Oniford and Mrs. Fowler, who did a majority of work for the K-5 level.
Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm Danielle Onifer. I teach second grade at Homeville, and I'm the elementary reading department head.
And I'm Dina Fowler. I'm the K-5 literacy coach. Good evening.
Okay, so in the red folders that were given to you, there is a PowerPoint slideshow in there. We're going to go through a few of the slides, and then also on the left-hand side are the quotes with all the pricing of everything as well. So we've been working over the past year. We created an ELA team, which consists of each grade level teacher was on there, special educators, our Title I teachers, the literacy coaches, and Dina and myself as well, and as well as Mrs. Haney. So over the past year, we have looked into 3 different programs. We looked at Wonders by McGraw-Hill. We looked at Amplify, CKLA, and Into Reading, which goes along with the Into Math that we have right now. We attended a presentation at Thomas Jefferson High School about the science of reading, and we also were very lucky to go to Thomas Jefferson School District to observe the Amplify CKLA program, and we also visited Peters Township School District to observe their Wonders program. So we were very thankful to be able to see it in action. After we listened to the presentations, went to the different sites, we met as a team to discuss the pros and cons. We utilized a rubric that was actually brought to us from the AIU that we were able to collect and compare the reviewer ratings of each of those. So we met as a team, we went through, what does it have, what does it consist of, what is it lacking, and we were able to rate it. And that gave us some evidence-based scores. And through that, we came to the conclusion that Wonders is our best option. So that is what we're going to be talking about this evening. And that is what we are proposing to you to get for us over the next 6 years.
Okay. The main criteria we were looking at when it came to choosing a program was making sure that they are based on the science of reading. That's the new buzzwords out right now with ELA, and in general, just making sure that everything is evidence-based, that everything down from the content we're covering to the amount of minutes we're spending teaching ELA and all that it contains is based on research and best practice. So this program is totally based and developed on that science.
Okay, the next few slides, they're in there, but we're not going to hit all of them. So the next one is differentiation. This is a big one for our kids in the elementary level. We have all different levels coming into the building, all the way through 5th grade. So our big thing, and all the teachers wanted, was to be able to differentiate, to be able to get onto their level, and this program offered a lot of opportunities for that to happen. So of course, there's the scaffolded instruction where the teacher does it, we do it together as a class, and then you put it onto them for some independent practice, which is great. A lot of small group time, which will help even the Title I teachers. Like she said before, science-driven, so a lot of data-informed instruction. Teaching the whole child. There's a lot of social-emotional skills embedded, which is amazing. They have a K-1 Sesame Street program as well that brings us the social skills that are needed for those kids. Differentiated spelling lists, so kids, we can have on-level spelling lists, beyond level, approaching. The kids that are struggling with the words, they're still learning the same letter sounds, tested on that, but they have different words, which is really nice to offer them. And then, of course, with all of our computers that now every kid has, it's nice to have the online assessments there as well. And one nice thing that they offer for the kids that need some differentiation, they can highlight things. We can take answers out as teachers, provide them less choices if they need that as well. Sure.
Okay, so on the screen behind you and also in your slides, this is sort of an example of what the teacher will see when they log into the online piece. And this is very well organized compared to the current programming that we've had. The program that we've had, we don't want to talk too much about, but you had to really seek and find things, and it took a lot of time. This will have their daily presentation based on their lesson plans ready to go. So for their TVs, they can just start presenting the slides that they need for the day. It suggests games, and again, like she had said, with the data-driven instruction, it will actually differentiate for the students based on their assessment scores and actually tell them what to reteach if they need it and suggest other materials within the program. So it's really, really nice and user-friendly for the teachers. And also the students, what we'll probably show you here, there's a lot available for them to use with the online piece as well.
And Ms. Bowser, I wanted to say that it is also synced with our school calendar as well. So if you're on day one and then we're off for Christmas break, when you come back after Christmas break, it'll pick you up on day two. It won't read all those days that you were off. So all we have to do is implement our calendar into this program, and it syncs right with our days, so it follows along with us.
Okay, and then we were looking, like she said, we were talking about the students. The student dashboard includes a lot of great options for them. They have their assignments right on there, words to know for the week, academic games, writing things that they can do and activities, adaptive learning programs that's catered to their needs. There's a resources tab for the parents to go on as well. They can listen to the story at home. There's leveled readers, so books that are on all different levels for them to read at home or at school. The weekly spelling lists are on there, so it's very easy, I think, as a parent to use it as well, because everything is easy for the students, teachers, and parents. And then the last slide we just wanted to touch base on was that as we were looking into all of their programs, this Wonders program really connects with all of the things we're currently using. So evidence-based practices, it aligns with Haggerty, which we currently use, K-3. That is a phonemic awareness lesson that we do daily in the classroom with sounding out words, doing syllables and blends, and this goes right along with it. A lot of our teachers went to the IU, to the Reading Achievement Center, and were trained on word building and different reading skills, and this goes along with that as well. We've implemented Acadian's benchmark for reading, and we're able to incorporate that in this program. And then, of course, our title teachers and teachers use PSI and PASI screeners to see what level the students are on. So all of what we currently use aligns with this program as well. Any questions or comments? This is a 6-year, yes. Yes.
The cost is for 6 years,
Correct.
This is going to occur 6 years, every 6 years. Or every year. Every 6 years. This is, yeah, not every year for 6 years.
Yes.
So this is a one-time for the next 6 years. Gotcha.
Anybody have any further questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Next, we'll bring up Mrs. Fulmer. Mrs. Fulmer is the secondary department head.
Good evening. I took a little different approach. I have a formal letter that I have prepared, and I have a survey that I will share with you, but you also have a paper copy in front of you. Is there anyone who does not have a copy? All right, thank you. At the beginning of this school year, I was tasked with the responsibility of initiating the search for a new literacy program for the high school English department. In the autumn of 2021, I quickly narrowed the search to 3 well-known literacy programs. The Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, which is also known as HMH, Into Literature program, the Savas Learning Company My Perspectives program, and the McGraw-Hill Education Study Sync ELA program. From each of these publishing companies, I received print and digital materials and samples, and then scheduled sales presentations. Throughout the months of November and December, the entire high school English department attended 3 sales presentations. Savas on November 16th, 2021, HMH on November 22nd, 2021, and McGraw-Hill on December 1st, 2021. After the sales presentations, the teachers were given time to review the samples and discuss the various options. In January of 2022, I created a survey and asked them to complete it and make a recommendation for one of the programs. I have included a summary of the survey results along with my letter. If you take a look, you can see that there are 7 teachers in the ELA department at the high school. All 7 participated, and the dominant choice was for my perspectives. The remaining questions I created from a number of textbook selection inventories and tried to pull out not only what most of the publishing companies were interested in specializing in advertising, but also what we felt as a department our needs were. And as you can see in question 2, it relates mostly to content. The most chosen selection is appropriate and relevant for our students, our high school students. That was a big part for us. In the next question, number 3, it focused specifically on the lessons and the activities, and I asked the teachers about what was most interesting to them between the products that they were choosing. And there were 2 top choices. One includes meaningful and useful materials, and 2 was provide suggestions for modifications. Like the elementary teachers, differentiation is important to us so that we can meet the needs of all of our students. Question number 4 focused on the organization. This was a big deal for us because if you've ever seen a high school literature anthology, it is dense. And the idea of its aesthetic appeal is actually quite important. How to navigate, how to find information, what kind of images are accompanied by the text selections. And number 5, was the choice of aesthetic appeal. In the question of number 5, technology, there was a tie between includes additional texts and supporting materials, and the extras. And the extras I will talk about in just a moment as I continue my letter. Number 6, the final questions that I asked of my fellow colleagues, why do you think this textbook series is the best fit for our teachers and students? I summarized the responses for you because the summary Microsoft Forms doesn't do that for you. So I put them all in a Word document for you so that you could see them. And number 7, any additional comments, and everyone's reply to that as well. Before I move on, may I answer any questions about the survey?
Very informational. This is very time-consuming, obviously, so thank you.
You are welcome. I will continue then. After much research and comparison, we recommend the Savvis My Perspectives series. The learning and performance tasks throughout the units meaningfully reflect grade-appropriate Common Core standards and depth of knowledge, also known as DOK levels. From thoughtful essential questions to challenging reading selections, to writing and speaking activities that require both textual analysis and well-informed student opinions. The Savvis My Perspective series reflects appropriate rigor for our high school students. Additionally, there are many adaptations available for ELL students, like highlighted summaries and audio in Spanish, and for our students with IEPs, like, and a big like, leveled texts and summaries, and informational selections. It is worth noting that My Perspective series provides several resources and tools to update the ELA curriculum for the West Mifflin Area High School. Additional teacher supports, like a plagiarism checker, revision assistant, essay checker, these will help make the My Perspectives the clear choice for our high school English teachers. Similarly, engaging digital resources feature bonus content that is both culturally responsive and richly diverse, which is important for our students as well. These supplemental resources will help teachers connect traditional curriculum for our students of today and even those of tomorrow, because the digital resources are updated regularly in this series. Finally, the online reports will assist teachers with progress monitoring because they will have access to real-time data to drive their instruction and support student learning. Now that is where I'm sure you think I should stop, but unfortunately I cannot. Among the course offerings in the English department at the high school are our AP/CHS courses. We offer AP Language and Composition to juniors and AP Literature and Composition to seniors. Both of these courses have also been approved college and high school, CHS, courses through Seton Hill University. Therefore, the curricular needs for these two courses differ from those of the other core English courses that we offer at the high school, which is why I propose two different literacy programs for students who enroll in these courses. These recommendations come solely from research conducted by the instructors of these AP/CHS courses. For AP Language and Composition, we recommend Language and Composition, The Art of Voice, 2nd edition/AP edition. Fully aligned to the AP course framework, this textbook is a blended rhetoric reader that spans ages, cultures, and disciplines, while building a solid foundation for students as they learn to approach, analyze, and respond to a variety of selections. Among the many resources available with this program, the accompanying ebook, which we've never had before, and Composition Essentials 4.0 will provide students with example writing models, personalized digital resources, and adaptive learning tools, all of which will increase students' ability to conduct rhetorical analysis, develop argumentative writings, and synthesize sources. The instructor of this course will benefit from both the print and online activities, the pacing guides, the AP test banks, and in-depth data reports to drive instruction. For our AP Literature and Composition course, we recommend Perrine's Literature, Structure, Sound, and Sense, 13th edition. It is written for students beginning a serious study of literature, and it includes short stories, poetry, and dramatic works with a selection of classic and contemporary readings to illustrate the elements of literature and ensure broad appeal to students from diverse backgrounds and students who have diverse interests. The accompanying digital MindTap Literature with Gale College Collection provides digital resources for students, including a wonderful resource called Fast Track to a 5, which includes a diagnostic test, strategies for the AP exam, and practice AP tests. Additionally, only for the AP Literature, students will have access to the entire Gale College Collection library online, writing and grammar videos, and resources to introduce them to literary criticism. Please know, and this isn't in my letter, that the English department has not had any online resources to draw from. The textbooks that we used were only available in print, so all of these resources sound just wonderful to us. Overall, it is my recommendation and the recommendation of the English faculty at West Mifflin Area High School that the school board please adopt the My Perspectives ELA series print and digital bundles, the 2nd edition of Language and Composition, The Art of Voice AP edition, print and digital bundle, and the 13th edition of Perrine's Literature, Structure, Sound, and Sense. Again, print and digital bundle. Mr. Souls has been provided with all cost proposals. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. May I answer questions?
I want to commend you and your department for the obvious work you did to reach these conclusions.
Yes, thank you.
Your excitement is contagious.
Thank you.
I had a question, maybe it's a little in-depth, but for the Turnitin, the plagiarism checker.
Yes.
Can students use that on something they're submitting and see ahead of time, or does just the teachers get the report?
To my understanding, that was part of the digital package that we could only see, not use, but it is utilized in my son's school district, and he can't see it. He turns it in through that, and then the teacher can see it. I would envision myself personally utilizing that in the respect of how I do now. Was this something that we need to cite differently? Maybe we should do that again? So, we're not interested necessarily in penalty at this level, but more instruction and improvement. May I answer other questions? Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mrs. Fulmer, thank you very much. Now, the high school, as you can see, is going within my perspectives. So is the middle school. And Dr. Minford, is there anything else you'd like to add regarding to where the transition from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade will look like to the high school?
We're kind of caught in the middle between the elementary and the high school. We looked at all the same series. We actually used, excuse me, the HMH Into Literacy, the last 2 years digital version. So we had the opportunity to use that for 2 years. We chose the Savas, my perspective, to align with the high school because with my perspective, they have a program called Success Maker. The Success Maker is for interventions, differentiation, and things like that that our students need. With our 84-minute English classes, I know last year I sat here and talked about our 84-minute math classes. We also have the 84-minute English classes where we have the 42 minutes of direct instruction, then we break down into small groups, the second 42 minutes, and the Success Maker is good for the integration. Mrs. Fulmer covered everything better than I could ever imagine. We're using the same series. I know she did not mention that the company sending us, as part of this package, novels. So the middle school is working with the high school. I believe the middle school is receiving 496 novels. So my middle school teachers are working with the high school teachers to find out what novels they're getting so we don't get the same novels and so that everybody gets the age-appropriate novels. But the Savas is the one we picked, so now the ELA will be aligned from 6 to 12. The only addition that we have that's different from them is the Success Maker, which is an intervention program which is definitely needed in 6, 7, and 8 to help our students here and as they move forward. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Minford.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, thank you to all for the ELA proposal this evening. Mr. President, that concludes tonight's presentations.
Joe, would you let the record reflect that Mr. Uhas is present? Thank you, Joe. Welcome, Mr. Uhas. Welcome. Addendum items, there are none. Hearing the citizens will be at the regular board meeting next week. There are no information items. 6, Board Secretary, Business Managers Report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under 6A, Board of Directors, we have the executive sessions, which there were 4, in the approval of the minutes from March. With the finance, item number 1, I had to transfer $5,000 from the general fund to the athletic fund, so this would be ratifying that transfer. Number two, because we sold Emerson, there's some other schools on our old mileage chart, I did a mileage chart to exclude the buildings that no longer go to, now today. That's all I have currently in finance. Receive purchasing contract, we have a 5-year affiliation agreement with Robert Morris for student teaching. Number two, this is an agreement with Issue Track, April 2022, April 27, 23. This is our building and grounds work order software system. And item number three is a proposal from Phyllis Carnes to provide subsurface exploration and geotechnical engineering services in the middle school. That's an estimated cost of $17,000. This will take 2 days, Monday and Saturdays, and so indoor drilling will take place, and then the other day we go outdoor work, so we can conduct that. This is part of the issues we have.
Mr. Esper, excuse me just 1 minute, that for number one, that new agreement with Robert Morris, a lot of our agreements have expired previous to COVID, so we're taking an effort here to reestablish these and try to add some new ones as well. Thank you, Joe.
Was there any questions on that?
The transfer for the general fund, you usually do that once or twice a year, do you not, for covering the coaches or the referees? Isn't that something you annually? As needed. Okay, that's what I figured. Thank you.
And no, C1, that's, I think, it looks like it's $200 per day, per teacher in that agreement with the RMU agreement. Is that what that is? There's no cost on the agenda, Joe, that's all. I was just, if the...
It's student teaching, there's normally not a cost.
There is no cost.
Now, if anything, Mr. Blazevich, usually the university will give a very small stipend to the teacher of record, helping out.
I gotcha. Okay. I was just, there was no period. I was expecting maybe a cost, that's all. Sorry.
Okay, moving on, and under 7 is financial report. It was pretty standard. 8 invoices, we already have 1 invoice so far, and we have service. And I did receive a monthly payment for our solicitor, so that will be added next week. And that's all I have. And we changed the agenda, because obviously everyone can see it.
Yes.
It flows much better, it's easier to use as well. We did maintain order, which we changed back in January. Mrs. Blanco and Mrs. Arbus have been very hard in the attempt to try to make the board work less and fit with what we really used to. We did keep the structure since it is part of our policy. It's listed as the order. We like the way it flowed. This is actually like did a nice job rebuilding this current one, which is started from scratch.
Yeah, thank you. And Joe's are available online, just like they would be in board docs that we were using, so.
This agenda, as well as a link to the Titan TV channel to watch this live, which is probably a few people watching, is on our website.
Right.
We're still tweeting this. It's definitely my ice.
Questions?
Thank you. I know it was a lot of work.
9, district operations.
Yes, Mr. President, under Now, we have one item A, that's the 2022 summer work schedule for administration. And that's the only item we're asked under that.
10, Superintendent's Report.
Under the superintendent's report, Mr. President, we have nothing under A, B, excuse me, under C, student activities as listed. We have nothing under D. Under E, we have our buildings and ground permits as presented. And under F, we have our conferences as presented.
Questions?
I have a question. Are both of the ESL people getting certified? Is that what they're doing there?
I believe this is a conference. It's not getting certified. Ms. Rutherford's already certified. Ms. Fickus is the one we asked to get certified this year.
And when will she be? Do we know?
I do not know off the top of my head, Ms. Leon.
11, professional personnel.
We will go over personnel at the regular meeting, sir.
Thank you. $12 non-certified personnel.
We will do that at the regular meeting as well, Mr. President.
Okay. And same with athletic personnel?
Correct.
Thank you. Board President's correspondence, there are none. 15, executive session discussion. We'll have an executive session after this work session. 16, board reports, committee reports.
For committee meetings, for buildings and grounds, Mrs. English Chair, we'd like to welcome Mr. Zidek. He's working with Mrs. Wells for next month and a half to get the lay of the land and learn the ropes here. So we welcome Mr. Zidek coming on as our facility director. Nothing else. Mr. Wells, anything to add? Mr. Zidek, anything to add in the buildings and grounds?
Jamie, did you want to mention about maybe having a meet, like a...
I would like to
a
try to
session?
schedule a meeting in May with, just to touch base and try to get everybody on the same page. I had a couple questions too. After the bathroom graffiti incident, has that been addressed? The graffiti in the bathrooms at the high school?
They struck it and they cleaned it up the best they can, but when they have it installed, it's hard to get off.
You almost have to sand it off.
Oh, geez, okay. And is there an update on the roof leak up at the high school with the air conditioner?
Mr. Joe Marion told me that the KPO is going to come on and repair that roof, but they haven't.
Okay. Are there any issues up here at the middle school?
The middle school, the roofers were here, the same day that they came to repair that, and we believe that they fixed that, and it has not leaked.
Excellent. Thank you.
Anything else on the buildings and grounds?
Not today, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to make the board aware of is that the raccoon found its way into the ceiling area in the maintenance garage. Seeing again, environmental restoration coming out, and it is significant. It was out there for some time, and damages about $16,000 to remove the raccoon left and repair the damage that it made, so we will be turning that into our insurance company.
Thank you, Joe.
Anything else for buildings and grounds? Under finance, Mr. Esper, if you'd like to talk a little bit, we're getting into talking with Steel Center about a possible building project to renovate Steel Center for our students. We will have the resolution here shortly, and hopefully have a little more details in May as we move forward. We also have Still Center's proposed budget, which was emailed out to the board members, and they will be asking us to move forward with accepting their budget.
I do want to make one quick report out that several board members here did attend a meeting on the 31st of March at the Steel Center to see the issues that they're looking to address with the project and the renovation project. It's quite evident that that building, I think, is 44 years old, and the equipment in there is all of 44 years old, and it's definitely due. So seeing firsthand made it quite clear to me that this resolution will have to be seriously considered, that there's probably not a likelihood of waiting much longer. And I'm happy to share what we saw with anybody here if they have questions. And the great job that they do it down there, quite frankly. I was impressed. And the plans that they have for the next couple of years too is quite impressive as well.
Yeah, Matt, props to what they do over there. The tour was really impressive, and also props to Deb. She's really kept us involved and kept us up to date, and she's advised us every step of the way of what's going on. So I really did appreciate getting a chance to see it, and again, thanks to the people at VOTEC, and thanks to Deb.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan.
Yeah, thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Anything else for finance? Down to the education. I would like to ask the committee to approve or recommend putting the ELA curriculum selections or book series selection on the agenda for approval at a cost not to exceed $600,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize.
And that's over 6 years.
That's a one-time fee for 6 years.
Right, okay.
I didn't realize we had that.
The Keystone schedule I sent out earlier for the high school, this Keystone testing schedule for the high school. We are asking, or letting the board know, the first day of testing, which is the 17th, is a remote day because it's the election day. However, we would like to bring the testing students in that day to do their Keystone testing while the building's quiet and so forth. And then the following 2 days will also be remote days for those students at the high school who are not tested.
2024.
So in order to give our students the best environment for testing, we're asking to be remote 2 of those 3 days. Laser engraver at the middle school, we just found out earlier in the month that the laser engraver was going bad. It could not handle the upgrade to the network we have. Then we also found out now that the 3D printer at the middle school has sort of gone south on us. It started to burn up a little bit. So those will be 2 pieces of equipment in the near future we'll be looking to replace down there.
Real quick, we get back up to the Keystones. That's 17th, that's May 17th, correct?
That's May 17th, correct.
And we'll let folks know as soon as we can.
Yes.
Those dates are going to be.
Actually, with the committee giving me their approval, then we'll move forward with getting that out to everyone.
Do you want the committee to approve that here?
Yes.
Any objections by the committee for the remote?
None.
No?
Mrs. Silvas has started looking at the duplication of services again across the district with our life skills programs, our autism program, and our social emotional programs, to where we were split in between Clarabelle and Homeville. I believe this would affect about 8 students. but it's an opportunity to provide our students better servicing with having all those students in one area instead of split among the district. It's better utilization of staff. Wagon, K through 2. Last year when we did the math cycle purchasing their programming, we were sold the wagon program K through 2 by the salesperson who did not fulfill or sell us what they were promising. Dr. Solomon, myself, have met with the higher-ups of Waggle, and we are asking for reimbursement from them, and it seems it's going to happen, which will then also help us offset the cost of the spring math, which will provide our teachers K through 2 the resources they need. But that's about a $27,000 savings that will come back. The summer music proposal, we emailed that to the board. We would like the committee to recommend putting that on agenda for approval as it was presented by Mr. Smith.
Yes.
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 Next, spring math. We sent out the quote for the spring math information, and we were asking the committee to recommend putting that on the agenda for purchasing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm okay.
The PSSA and the Keystone, they just came out earlier this week. They did extend the testing window. Our principals are not taking advantage of it. We're going to stay as to what we have already proposed and have out to the parents and the students. Lastly, it's not on the education list, but ALEC, we're asking for a purchase of software at the high school, and this is for math remediation, and we would ask the committee to recommend putting that on the agenda for our high school math students.
Is it just math
It is just math,
at both high school and,
just high school.
okay. I thought the thing we read said it was also middle school.
Yes, there's one of the questions.
Well, I'm sorry, I apologize, I thought we just had,
It is math.
Okay.
Wait, so that is my high school and middle school?
They have IXL for the ELA. Actually, Alex, both of those, it's extended. This is something we have.
Excuse me. Couldn't hear down this end, so I just wanted to verify. The math remediation, I heard high school. Now, is it also high school and middle school?
high school and middle school.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get clarification.
Upper middle school.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Doyle, my mic was off. The Alex is actually a middle school and high school. It's remediation. I think it's the best out there, and I think also the teachers do as well, since they're the ones that requested to have it extended. This isn't a new program, this is an extended one. And actually, it's very customized. It's one of the best customized remediation programs out there. So working on it a day or two, it will mold to exactly what you need.
Will it be 6 through 8, or is it the entire middle school, or?
6 through 8.
The second sheet just said 6, 7, 8.
I think it should be sixth grade, especially sixth grade's the first grade that they start taking an accelerated math class.
Thank you.
So I don't have it in front of me, but in terms of like the curriculum cycling, math is that, where does that fall?
We did math last year, but this is supplemental software.
Okay, so just add on to it, and is it going to follow the same cycle for renewal as it would be built in with it? Or is this a yearly renewal?
This is a yearly renewal.
Okay.
Yes. Committee recommend putting that on the agenda?
Yes.
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 Any questions or any further information for the Education Committee? Okay?
Does not appear so.
All right, under policy, we sent out to the policy committee, and we're asking for recommendation to put our record retention handbook on the agenda for approval.
I just wanted to say that, looking at that records retention handbook, I think that it's very nice, very thorough, and I thought it was well detailed. My only question with it is kind of for Krisha. Would there be any, it mentions about legal issues pretty well. Does it cover it sufficiently?
I haven't looked at your record retention handbook that's sent out yet. I will look at that, Mr. Squires. I will say that we've had a backlog of records because of legal holds on our records. We had one with the Duquesne litigation and then the Dr. Castagna litigation. Both of those concluding through discovery. I believe now would be the appropriate time. I know that Joe is happy to hear me say that because we're in Sandy. We've been down there multiple times in the vault, and they're like, can we get rid of this stuff yet? So it will be, I'm sure, a great summer project moving forward, but I will check that out for you before next week.
Thank you.
Sure.
And I guess I have just one other question. And I'm trying to look it up real quick, but the email retention, I think it was like 90 days.
That's a minimum. So emails could be kept longer.
Yeah, I believe we have an email retention policy that's longer than that currently.
Yes.
Okay.
3 years.
But is the expectation to be at a minimum, or is the expectation that that is the minimum, that you can't get rid of can't delete something before 90 days? Is that what that means?
I believe that's best practices, that you shouldn't remove anything until at least 90 days, that's the minimum. But like I said, I believe we have a specific policy as to the retention of emails. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like a year.
3 years. That's through Microsoft, 3 years.
Yeah.
So even if it's the email, you don't need it, it's somewhere we have somewhere.
Sure. No.
If you're worried about a conflict between two policies, we can certainly in that specific section put language in there, please refer to policy X with regard to email retention.
Right, and I guess that's what I would ask maybe when you do take a look at it, just make sure there aren't conflicts and that it's very clear. Because when I read that, I was minimum of 90 days in my brain. It just wasn't computing for some reason. I always look at a retention policy as like at 90 days, that's when you start to get rid of things. That's how I was reading it. Maybe it was just my confusion.
Great, I will definitely check that with our other policies and see if there's any other conflict.
I just don't want people doing the wrong, misreading something and then thinking they can just start deleting stuff when actually that's not what we intended them to do. Thank you.
Is the committee would like us to move forward, putting that on the agenda for next month, or would you like to hold off?
I think pending time for Krisha to take a look at it, that's something I think we'd be okay moving forward with.
It's something that I can address tomorrow. I don't foresee that being
Okay.
I'll pull it up in the packet.
If it's all right with Krisha, it's fine with me.
Kevin?
Same. Yes.
That concludes my committee reports, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Souls. Steel Center, Debbie?
Thank you, Mr. President. Save the date for the 2022 senior class recognition ceremony. Still Center for Career and Technical Education will honor the members of our 2022 graduating class on Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. This year, for the first time since the pandemic, we are returning to our longtime event location, CCAC South Campus. The ceremony is from 7 to 8 p.m. in the gymnasium of the Community College of Allegheny County South Campus. This is actually their graduation, and I would like to invite the board members to also attend. We have some Student of the Month awards for March. Colin Dudas for Automotive Technology, Joshua Smoley for Electrical Construction, Edward Hagmeyer for HVAC Refrigeration, Extra Effort Awards for third quarter is Ian Muncie, Automotive Technology, Tyler Davern, Baking and Pastry Arts, Derek Taylor, Carpentry, Malaya Bull, Culinary Arts, Haley Pattison, Public Safety, Brandon Krause, Welding. The following Steel Center students are participating in Work-Based Learning Co-op: Jason Huntoon in Electrical Construction at Kennywood Park, Tanner Hornfeck, Building Trades at Kennywood Park, and Dominic Gardner for Electrical Construction at Evolution Automation. That so ends my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Kostelnik. 17, Solicitors Report.
Thank you. My report will be given executive session. We did have a meeting with all the solicitors on the Steel Center resolution, and I'll address that in executive session.
Thank you, Mrs. Damasio. 18, Old Business. 19, New Business. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Costello. Second by Mrs. Ahern. Meeting adjourned.
It's always you two.